Our special guest today was very successful at the highest level, playing for South Africa at under 21 level, and he was also part of the 2009 squad of the Sevens. Neil Powell. Neil, welcome.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Well,
Thanks, Danilo. I started playing Sevens actually in 2001, and then went back to 15s for a while, and then at the end of 2007, Paul True actually approached me and said, "Listen, do you want to come back to the Sevens?" And the reason why I said yes was I just liked the game of Sevens. I think where 15s at that time was so structured, especially as a scrum half, they told you when to kick, now you must kick, now you must pass, now you must run. Where although there's a structure in Sevens as well, you had a lot more freedom to play what you see in front of you. So, and I like that freedom of expressing your individual talent or brilliance or whatever you want to call it. And I think going back in 2007, it's almost where the professional era in South African Sevens started. Paul was probably the pioneer of that full-time professional setup. One of the turning points in the Springbok 7 system was something that we still talk about now when we revisit our culture every single year, and it's the meeting we had in Manly in 2008. It wasn't planned, it wasn't on the daily or the weekly program. It just happened after dinner, and then it started to evolve. It started to ask questions about the values, and we all sat, and we never knew that this meeting that was supposed to be a quick 15 to 20 minute meeting is going to turn out to be a 5-hour meeting, and basically the start of where South African Sevens culture started with the values and the different statements, the mission and vision statements. I think the important thing about the culture or values is the fact that you need to include everybody to keep them responsible and accountable at the end as well. And I think that happened for us that evening when everybody decided what that culture is going to look like from that point forward. It's values when it's decided on and it's written on a paper and it's put up on a wall, but it only becomes a culture if you live that values.
Yeah.
If you want that culture to be in your company or in your team, the top guys need to live that culture.
Yeah.
They can't expect the guys on the ground floor to be respectful or on time or disciplined if the top structure don't live that same culture. Lead by example. Your actions speak louder than words. For me as a coach, it's definitely a lot more about the people than the performance, and I think it's always going to be about the players for me. If the guys wake up in the morning and I go, "Shibbit, I need to go to work or to training today," then we got it wrong. If they don't rock up with smiles on their faces, then we're in trouble. I was walking behind the two English players, and I could see the one English player tapping the other one on the shoulder and go, "What are they doing? I mean, we're playing a final against them now and they're dancing and there's smiles on their faces," and we beat them 29-12 or 29-14 that day. And then the very next weekend we played Fiji in the final. Same story again. In that 10 minutes before warm-up, all 12 players in a huddle having a dance-off. One by one, they came in, showed their moves, went out again, awesome. And we won. We beat Fiji that day as well. So we know when there's smiles on their faces, the system is in a good place. In terms of strategy, it's all about analysis and knowing exactly what the opposition is doing. The strategy will stay the same for 80%, and you must make sure as a coach or leader that you have done your work and your homework and your analysis so that you can go through a tournament with 80% of what you've decided, but there's still opportunity to tweak it 15 to 20%. We also talk about enjoyment and fun. There's a fun part where there's no focus, there's no concentration, and we talk about it as a five-year-old birthday party where it's chaos, it's noisy, there's no purpose. They just want to play and make as much noise as possible, and that the guys can have off-field. Yes. They can give each other sleeping pills when we fly and draw stuff on each other's faces and tip each other's beds in the hotel room. But as soon as they walk over that white line and they have their boots on and their jerseys on, whether it's training or playing, let's get a little bit more focused. Let's get a little bit more purpose in this training session. I always used to say that we don't see colour, and I think it's the wrong thing. We do see colour, but I accept all the different cultures and the backgrounds. I mean, not just cultural backgrounds, but social and financial backgrounds as well. Yes. We take all the strength from the different cultures to strengthen the system of Springbok Sevens, but there's also certain non-negotiables. If it's okay in one culture to be late, that's a non-negotiable in the Springbok Sevens culture, because we all decided that that's going to be a non-negotiable.
Sure.
The dancing before a game is part of a certain cultural background in our system, and I think accepting the different backgrounds and cultures, but also having some non-negotiables is the key to it.